Thank you. I
मैम
mean,
हाय मेरा नाम हेलो मैम या
hi.
मैम मेरा सवाल आपसे है गुरिंदर मैम से कि मैम लेडी माउंट बेटन का कितना रोल था पार्टीशन में अगर आप कुछ बता पाएं क्योंकि रिसर्च आपने बहुत
Well, मैं ये दिखाना चाहती हूँ जो कुछ असलियत था. And Lady Mountbatten, um, she was much more politically astute than her husband. Her husband was very much into his clothes, his badges, his medals, the pomp and splendor of his class, being part of the royal family. He was a very vain man, and I wanted to show that. That was part of his thing. He was more excited about introducing the zipper, to India, and whereas she was his conscience. She constantly was saying to him, don't rush what you're doing. Wait. Don't just go for partition. Wait. So I think that also there's a lot of footage of Edwina out in India. He remained a lot, in Viceroy's house in Rashtrapati Bhavan, meeting, Nehruji, Gandhiji, everybody. But Edwina, she was out with the Red Cross. She was a patron of the Red Cross. She would go and visit villages. She would go to Gandhi's prayer meetings. She was out and about in India, and she actually really did want to make changes here. She took that role very seriously. So I wanted to show that, and all the footage is there on YouTube to see her out there with refugees, with people, just not really able to do anything, but just to show that hamdardi. She very much wanted to do that, and I salute her for doing that, actually. But I think that her husband really didn't really listen to her, and he just sort of went down a different path.
मैम दूसरा सवाल ये है क्या आपको लगता है पार्टीशन टाला जा सकता था इट कैन बी अवॉइडेड
um, मुझको ये अफसोस है जो वो टाइम में अभी वो टॉप सीक्रेट डॉक्यूमेंट्स मैंने देखे हैं ब्रिटिश लाइब्रेरी में अभी है कोई भी देख सकता है जे नेहरू जी और गांधी जी और पटेल जी वो लोग जो उन्होंने वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स देखे थे ना उस वक्त में मुझको लगता है हिंदुस्तान का अलग हिस्ट्री होनी चाहिए थी बिकॉज I think they was so after 300 years of British rule, they were very much concerned with India and India's independence. Quite rightly, they had fought very hard, a terrible struggle against British oppression for independence. And so they were just thinking about these borders and India, whereas Britain was used to ruling the world, was thinking about a bigger global scenario. If India becomes independent, what's going to happen to our place in the rest of the world? So I think afsoos ki baat hai that I think the Indian leaders never really thought about the global situation, just about Hindustan. And I think these top secret documents show that what the British agenda was, and that the Indian leaders didn't realize how cunning they were in pushing the Indian politicians into one direction, whereas they had a completely different agenda.
Uh,
तफसील में बताऊं तो मैं उस वक्त मैंने स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ी थी और एक ऑडिशन टेप भेजा था गुरिंदर को हिंदुस्तान से सहर लतीफ़ कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर हैं उनने मुझे कॉल किया बोला फिल्म बन रही है मेरे घर आई हमने एक ऑडिशन टेप रिकॉर्ड किया जहाँ मैं कुछ दुपट्टा पट्टा सुखा रही हूँ एंड आई सेंड टू गुरिंदर एंड आई थिंक गुरिंदर रियली लाइक्ड इट एंड उस तब कोइंसिडेंटली मैं उसके कुछ टाइम बाद आई वाज इन इंग्लैंड व्हेन आई गॉट अ कॉल सेइंग गुरिंदर वांट्स टू टेस्ट यू विथ मनीष दयाल द एक्टर हु इज इन द फिल्म विथ मी ऑपोजिट मी who's a wonderful actor. But so I said, मैं तो मगर हिंदुस्तान में हूँ ही नहीं मैं तो इंग्लैंड में हूँ तो then she got us in touch and then I went to see her musical and then we did like a reading together with Manish, another actor from the film Jazz and I, which I think went well.
Very well.
And then she called me one day, I was sleeping and she called and saying, okay, I want you to be my Alia. And I think I screamed for 5 minutes and she's like, she laughed. She said, okay, maybe it's the wrong decision. But no.
But also, she has a period face, period features. In the film, she has the 40s hairstyle and wears those big salwars and kuli kameez, and so she really suits the period look. That's important to say.
And it's a lovely script, like I said. It's each character is so beautifully written. हिस्ट्री को बहुत ही अलग तरीके से लिखा गया. हम भी जब हिंदुस्तान में पार्टीशन के ऊपर फिल्म बनाते हैं तो बहुत अलग तरीके से बनाते हैं. इनका नज़रिया बनाने का बहुत अलग है. ऑफ कोर्स एक जो सीक्रेट डॉक्यूमेंट्स की बात कर रही हैं वो तो है ही, मतलब दैट्स द बेसिक क्रक्स ऑफ द फिल्म. बट उसके अलावा पार्टीशन को एक पीपल्स प्रॉब्लम बताया गया है. बहुत आसान होता है कि आप फिंगर पॉइंट करो और किसी को ब्लेम करो, but to really think that it's a collective problem and how that an issue like this affects common people, I think वो कहीं ना कहीं निकल के आ रहा था, which I sort of, as a person also, I sort of resonate with that whatever could be your ulterior motive, it could be geopolitical, it could be anything, but to divide people, and to cause unrest or bloodshed is just not right. So I just love that, and I knew when I read the film that I would love to be a part of a film like this. About Alia, well, Alia is a Muslim interpreter to the Mountbattens. If come, she's educated, she's Muslim, which is very unusual for a girl for that period. Very strong. Her problem is sort of the problem that India had, or a lot of Muslims in India had that point in time, whether to stay or to leave. And she's in love with this boy who's Hindu. And she has a blind father to take care of. And the father's found this lovely young Muslim boy for her, played by the lovely, dashing Arunodaya Singh, who's a great guy. But she's just not in love with him. And she has to make that choice whether to stay or to leave.
But we also made it that Alia and Jeet, one was from Amritsar, one was from Lahore. So they never knew which country they were going to end up in until the last minute. So that was
which is the problem of all Indians, no? You could be in Lahore, but you could be a Hindu, and then you didn't know which side you want to be on because Lahore was still your city, and so it was just that conflict that people had at that point in time, who you really are, that question of identity. When something like this is thrown in your face, I guess people just respond.
When we were making the film, when we were shooting the refugee scenes, we had many extras who had come because actually in Jodhpur we're not too far from the border, right? So we had a lot of people who were coming as extras, and there are scenes with Mountbatten in the camp where there are real refugees, and he's talking to them just while the camera's on, and they start telling him about their real experiences, what happened to them, how they escaped with their lives because their Muslim neighbors put burqas on them, got them on the railway, got them across the border. And so all this started happening for real on the film. But also, when we were shooting those refugee scenes, it was terribly upsetting because we had 1,000 extras, and every day we were dressing them to look like period, 1947 refugees. But on our phones, we were seeing the news, which was the main news at that time was the little Syrian boy who was found washed up on the beach as his family were trying to escape Syria. So we were looking at refugees on our phone on the news, and we were shooting period refugees here, and it really made the film feel very urgent. I think that I was going to say something else. I forgot now. There's a lady here.
Hi. Hi, Huma. So basically my question is, this is more like a Indo-British film, you have started doing that. So can we expect you to also join, the Hollywood League and, sign some movies out there?
Well, I've never chased Hollywood or a particular industry. I think wherever I chase creativity, I chase good scripts. I'm doing a Tamil film as we speak right now. So for me, language is not really the concern. I mean, I don't choose scripts based on what language or what territory is going to release in. I think, if Gurinder had made this film in Punjabi, I would still love to be a part of it. So yeah, if there's a good script, no matter which part of the world it is in, I would be up for it, most definitely.
Just one added thing. You are also a part of, doing the Rajnikant film. If you could just tell us what's your role and, how
I think let's keep it to Partition 1947. We'll do another press conference.